He chose Russell Westbrook over LeBron James. That, in essence, is what Paul George did last summer when he reached free agency and was free to go wherever and play next to whomever. While there are obvious logistical and lifestyle differences between lacing up with the Thunder in folksy Oklahoma City and the Lakers in glamorous La, that one must weigh. The core decision for a two-way multiple all-star in his prime is selecting who he will ride with. So George did precisely what a fair segment of the hoops world wouldn't have the basketballs to do, then questioned his wisdom for re-signing with the Thunder and reattaching himself to the ball-dominating Westbrook. Well, 3 months into the season, it appears George chose wisely and did what's best for him if winning and happiness are all that counts. The Thunder are north of the Lakers in the standings, while the basketball and personal rhapsody between George and Westbrook has a good flow, although time will eventually deliver a verdict in the matter of both. "I came here to win," George said. Bottom line. The fact that this duo is working says much about George, of course, and more about Westbrook and the former MVP's ability to prevent another franchise teammate from leaving through the front door. The ultimate winner in the equation is Oklahoma City, still crackling on the court and positioning itself to be the last team standing in the West between the Warriors and a trip to the NBA Finals come springtime. "I think I'm pretty adaptable," George said. "I can pattern my game to work with whomever I'm playing with. That includes LeBron." George said he'd have no problems coexisting with LeBron had he signed up for that duty. Easygoing in personality and unselfish in playing style, George would have made for a unique tandem with the Lakers. The connection between George and La began 2 years before LeBron arrived. As he approached the final year of his contract with the Pacers, George wanted out, and the Lakers made trade inquiries about a player born and raised an hour north of town. Indiana sent him to OKC instead in a trade that was vilified yet worked out quite well for the Pacers, who received Victor Oladipo and Domantas Sabonis, cornerstones for the franchise's rebuild. And when OKC never managed any serious traction last season, the chase for the Lakers was back on. Yet George felt so strongly about finishing what he started with Westbrook that he didn't even give the Lakers an interview last summer. He made his first appearance against the Lakers at Staples Center on Wednesday since ruining L.A.'s bold plans of signing both him and LeBron and showed the crowd what could have been, with 37 points in OKC's 107-100 win. As disastrously as last season's ambitious retooling went for the Thunder, who imploded in the playoffs against the Utah Jazz and failed to find a role for Carmelo Anthony and his decaying skills, this season is pumping the brakes on any visions of an encore. There are multiple reasons for the rebirth and they all fall in line behind the obvious: the sneakers of George and Westbrook are in step. This is reflected mostly through the play of George, who's rolling better than he did on any of those fine Indiana Pacer teams, better than he did pre-broken leg, better than he did during a fluid but not unforgettable first season in OKC. You could even make a case for giving George a seat at the early MVP roundtable, because 26.4 points, remarkable on a team with Westbrook, 8.2 rebounds, tremendous for a small forward, 4.1 assists and 2.2 steals a game demand that level of respect. It's possible George is reaching his career peak here at 28, which means the timing is right for him and OKC. For years he was a level below the heavyweights and still might be, although his first season as a $30 million player isn't giving OKC any buyer's remorse at all and may earn him a spot on the All-NBA team if this continues. What's more, Westbrook isn't hindering George's game. This fear was built largely on Westbrook's relentless style, where the ball's in his hands constantly and plays either live or die on his decisions and whims. But what needed to be taken into account was George, whose game and personality seems a perfect fit next to Westbrook. After being the lead singer all those years in Indiana, George is comfortable playing off the skills of another star. He isn't threatened by Westbrook, nor put off by the guard's high usage rate. And Westbrook has made adjustments as well to ensure George feels free and at home. Westbrook is taking fewer shots, 21.1 to 19.3, and often yielding to George during tense late-game moments, especially when the situation calls for three-pointers, where George is a significantly better option than Westbrook, 38% to 24%. "I didn't think it was going to be an easy transition," George admitted. "We both would have to learn a lot about ourselves and each other. And we did. That's just the patience needed in this situation." Last year with Carmelo, We tried to force it to happen instead of trying to build toward it, letting chemistry happen first. That's been the key right now, having patience and let everything play itself through. So there's a kinship between George and Westbrook that wasn't apparent during the final seasons with Westbrook and Kevin Durant, and evidently so. One player bailed on Westbrook and the other stayed. "It's not about making someone wanting to stay here," Westbrook said. "It's about creating a bond, friendship, outside of basketball. When you have the bond and friendship that's bigger than basketball, to me that's the important part. I've had the opportunity to learn about him and his family, where he's from, how it got here." George carried OKC in scoring, while Westbrook missed 8 games with injuries, and there's been on-court balance between the two since. It also helps that Jerami Grant discovered a jump shot during the offseason, and Dennis Schroeder, imported from the Hawks, brings an energy boost and 16 points off the bench. It's a team that holds a mildly surprising top 3 spot in the West and will soon see the return of defensive ace Andre Robertson from knee surgery. George said he would have worked well with the Lakers, and while that's a safe assumption, what he's doing with OKC is solid proof. "I have a better feel for not only Russ but Steven, Adams, and Jerami," George said. "I was brought here for a reason, to win and win big. This year it's out there for us. We know where we want to get to."